Hello and a very good morning and a very happy new year to you all, wherever you're joining us this morning. It's fantastic to have you with us. My name is Rich. I'm going to be leading us through our meeting today and introducing all the different elements of it. It's really good to see loads of people on the chat already, heading on, saying Happy New Year to one another. Great to see so many of your messages coming in already, so I'd really encourage you, please do keep sharing your New Year messages. Maybe let me know if you've already been out nice and early or even late last night and built a snowman in the snow that's been around. I know that's what we did. We did a late night, 11 o'clock snowman just to make the most of it, just in case it all suddenly melted away. We didn't have another opportunity. But it's really good to be together for this, our first meeting of 2021 as Oasis Church, as community, gathering online together. And we've got a really great meeting coming up this morning. In just a moment's time, I'm going to hand over to Abby and Andy, and they're going to be leading us in a time of worship. This morning, we've got a little bit longer to worship, which is going to be really good. It's a real opportunity to start this year by connecting with God, by just resting in Him and looking to Him again. And then after that, Adrian is going to be sharing a short New Year's message, and then we'll have a time to respond with worship and prayer at the end. And so that's where we're going this morning. And I'd really encourage you throughout the meeting to get involved, however feels comfortable to you, however is going to help you to engage as best you can. And so for you at home, that might be standing up and joining in with the songs. All the words will come up along the bottom of the screen. It might be sitting and resting, sitting on a sofa like I am, and just kind of enjoying the music and the singing as it comes over you. It might be pulling out your new Christmas musical instruments that you've got this year and having a go at joining in. Whatever is going to be helpful for you to join in throughout the service, please do feel free to go for it. And as well, please do feel free to contribute on the chat throughout the meeting, particularly if you feel like there's anything that God might be saying to you or for us as a community. We believe really strongly as a community that God is a living God. He's a speaking God, and His desire and His heart is to speak into our lives afresh in this moment, that we might know that He is journeying with us in all that we are living with and all that we're facing. And so if you've got anything to encourage one another on that front, please do feel free to pop it on the chat. Any kind of Bible passages or encouragements like that. Good to see a number of people on the chat already have had snowball fights on their road, been speeding down the slopes of King's Heath. I'd like to see Mike Blaber on a tiny little sledge. That's what I'm imagining, kind of crashing into things, knocking children out the way, I'm sure, as he goes along. But I'm glad that people are having a great time in the snow, making the most of it. Before we head to worship, I just wanted to share a quick encouragement for us to hopefully just get us into a place of being ready to receive from God again, to draw close to Him and hear from Him. This is what the Apostle Paul writes in 1 Corinthians chapter 2. When I came to you, I did not come with eloquence or human wisdom, as I proclaimed to you the testimony about God. For I resolved to know nothing while I was with you, except Jesus Christ and Him crucified. I came to you in weakness, with great fear and trembling. My message and my preaching were not with wise and persuasive words, but with a demonstration of the Spirit's power, so that your faith might not rest on human wisdom, but on God's power. And that's the invitation for us this year, this new year, our first meeting of 2021, a time when many of us perhaps might be making New Year's resolutions. Perhaps some of us have made them and broken them already in the first couple of days. But the invitation for us now, in this moment and in this year ahead, is to do as Paul does, to resolve to know nothing but Jesus and the power of His life, death, and resurrection, bringing hope and life and fullness to all that we are. We come however we are, in weakness, with trembling, with fear. Even the great Apostle Paul, writer of half of the New Testament, came with all of those things jumbling around in him, and yet he knew a God who was more than enough for him. And that's the God who invites us to come this morning. As we worship, Let's open ourselves to him again. Let's receive from him again. Let's draw near to him again as we hear the voice of Jesus speaking hope and life and truth to us again. Over to you, Abby.
resting place. Come to the resting place.
Jesus.
Come to the living water.
Jesus.
Come to the light of life.
Jesus.
Come to Jesus.
Lord,
Come
to the resting
place. We come
to the living
water.
Come to the light of life. Come to Jesus. Come to the resting place. Come to the living water. Come to the light of life.
Come to Jesus. We're going to sing You Are My Shepherd. You are my shepherd. You are all I need. You lead me to stillness. I rest in your peace. I will not fear. you are my shelter. You are my shelter, my comfort, my home. Your presence surrounds me. I rest in your love. I will not fear, for you are with me. I will not fear, for you are with me. You restore my soul. You restore my soul. You restore. You restore my soul. Jesus, you restore my soul. Sing when I walk. When I walk through the darkness, you are still near. You lead me to safety. Jesus, you're here. When I'm lost in the shadows, your voice calms my fear. Your goodness surrounds me. Jesus, you're here. When I walk through the darkness, you are still near. You lead me to safety. Jesus, you're here. When I'm lost in the shadows, your voice calms my fear. Your goodness surrounds me. Jesus, you're here. You restore. You restore my soul. You restore my soul. You restore my soul. Jesus, you restore my soul. You restore my soul. Fill us up, Lord God. Oh, you lead us to water. Restore my soul. Never leave. You restore.
you were with me. Bringing your comfort and your peace. Jesus, you're with us. You never leave. You never leave. Oh, we are not alone. We are not alone. You are always with us. Emmanuel, God with us. Our home is in you. Our shelter is in you. We hide in the shadow of your wings. You keep us hiding in you. You restore my soul. Just wherever you are right now, if you can, if you feel comfortable, why don't you just hold your hands out and just ask Jesus for what you need today. He's here. He wants to restore your soul. He wants to bring peace and comfort. He wants to remind you that you're not alone, that He's faithful and trustworthy. Just as Andy plays, just take a moment to ask Jesus for what it is you need. Thank you, Jesus, that you're enough. Thank you that you restore us and you pour into us everything that we need. Thank you that you're kind to us and you love us. Thank you that we can hide our hearts in you and know that you will take good care of us. Thank you for your comfort and your peace. And I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will Majesty, majesty, your grace has found me just as I am, empty-handed but alive in your hands, singing majesty, majesty. Forever I am changed by your love, in the presence of your majesty. Sing majesty, majesty. Your grace has found me just as I am, empty-handed but alive in your hands, singing majesty, majesty. Forever I am changed by your love, in the presence of your majesty. Forever, forever I am changed by your love, in the presence of your majesty. Forever I am changed by your love, in the presence of your majesty. Jesus, we thank you that your love is just everything to us. We thank you that it changes us, draws us closer to you. Lord, it's the foundation of everything that brings peace and comfort and justice to us and to our community and to our world. Thank you for who you are. And Lord, I pray for every person listening or watching now or on catch up. Lord, would you give them a real sense of your presence right now? Draw close to them. Let them know that you're with them. Help them feel close to you today. Remind them of how much you love them again. We just ask these things in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. It's wonderful, wonderful to worship together, isn't it? I just want to share this encouragement from Rod and Hannah on the chat. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. And the encouragement that whatever this last season has looked like for each one of us, we can know the story doesn't end here. That God is restoring, transforming, and renewing from within. This is from Isaiah 35. The desert and the parched land will be glad. The wilderness will rejoice and blossom. Like the crocus, it will burst into bloom. God is doing a new thing. And what he does is what he always does, which is he restores and renews from within. Like that stream of water that overflows into everlasting life. The encouragement for us this year is to keep looking to Jesus, to keep fixing our eyes on him and keep drawing deeply from him. It's so good to be together. In a moment, I'm just going to hand over to Adrian, who's going to be sharing a short message with us. But before I do that, if you've been following the chat feed, you might have spotted a number of other encouragements that have been shared throughout our time together. Wonderful passages from Scripture, from John and from Matthew, and one as well that Adrian shared, which didn't quite work out due to the fact that there's some kind of automatic filter on the chat feed there. So I promise you, Adrian wasn't sharing any inappropriate words. He was just sharing a word from the Bible about how God will not break a bruised reed or snuff out a smouldering wick. But that didn't quite translate fully. But with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Adrian, who's going to share with us for the next 10 minutes or so.
Well, Happy New Year, friends. It is so good to be back with you. And my hope is that over this kind of most unusual of Christmas kind of New Year breaks, that you've been able to manage to find some moments of peace. I thought it is good that Richard just did share something that I haven't started the new year with a new look of just trying to get in swear words online. No, it was just literally trying to say the word snuff, and for some reason that word isn't allowed online, and that's the reality. But today I want us to take a moment as we kind of start a new year. This is the first time of us gathering this year. I want to give us an opportunity to pause. And in that pause, I'm hoping that we'll get some time to then reflect on the year that's been, and also look forward to the year that's coming. And so what I want to encourage you to do, maybe you can grab your phone out at this moment, and I'm not encouraging you at this point to kind of get online playing games or look at your social media status. So rather want to encourage you, why not just make some notes? As I think, particularly at the end, when I'm going to give us 7 questions, I really want us to take hold of those. I think they could really help us. Maybe for some of us who think, well, I haven't got a phone to make notes, I need to just quickly run and get a bit of pen and paper. Well, why don't you do that? And I'll kind of keep sharing. You'll be able to hear me in the distance. But I encourage you, get something just to make some notes. As I really do believe what we're going to look at today actually invites us to live in a way that I promise is going to do you and I good. And then what I want to do is just look at 3 verses from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 to 18, where Paul writes this. He says, "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." Just going to read that again. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. See, Paul wants to give us an invitation that actually is from God. That God's will for your life and my life is that we would be those that are shaped by his loving, unconditional love and unconditional goodness. And he's longing for our lives to be characterized by his goodness and love. And Paul says how we can live more in the wonder of what Jesus has afforded us through his life, death, and resurrection is by living with dependency, living with thanksgiving, and also with rejoicing. Now, Paul puts it the other way around, but I want to do it this way because there can be a pressure sometimes that we hear that first word, rejoice always, and we think, man, do you not understand, Adrian, what I'm living with at the moment? How am I going to live rejoicing always? Well, what I want us to see is actually in this invitation Paul gives us of living with dependency, living with thanksgiving, actually we're going to find at the end that it causes us to be those who live with deep joy that brings rejoicing. And to start off with, I want to look at dependency. Now, you could say, well, that isn't there. There isn't the word dependency in this passage. Well, actually, there is. It kind of is implicit in all that Paul is sharing as he says, pray continually. He doesn't say pray occasionally, pray when you feel like it, pray sometimes. He says, no, pray continually. Why? Because it reveals dependency. It reveals a dependency on God. You see, that call to live dependently, to be praying continually, is like saying, like daily, moment by moment, like, I can't do this. Like, I haven't got it in me to do all that I've got to do. I need help. Like, isn't that good? Like, I don't know about you, but that just does my heart good to know that I haven't got to get everything sorted. It isn't all down to me. Rather, I'm invited into this life that's shaped by one where I'm continuously dependent on this God who's longing to bring me more into the life that he has for me, that's characterized by his love and goodness. See, the reality is, as I reflect back on this year, I realize I've needed God so much. Like, the reality is, there's been so many different circumstances that I have had to navigate that just have been challenging, have kind of left your head spinning, thinking like, I don't know what to do now. And Paul's kind of like, well, that's the whole point. We're not meant to do this by ourselves. You see, in this pause, as we remember, we're those that are to be shaped by dependency, it causes us to know that we therefore can come to God in the reality of everything that we've just been through in terms of 2020. We don't have to come and kind of pretend that everything's okay or that we're doing all right. Rather, that we can come in our reality before God. Come in our frailty, in our brokenness, in our vulnerability, in our kind of deep sense of knowing that, like, we're not enough. We need you, God. Like, we get to come in that reality as we look back and say, well, this is where I'm at. Like, 2021 feels like it's just a continuation of 2020. Well, we come, therefore, in that reality before God. See, for me, as I've reflected, it's meant I've come to God and said, hey, God, this is the reality that I found last year, that in addition to the pandemic that we were living with, like, additional care for members of my wider family just weighed heavily on me. Like, it caused me to just know incredible emotional demands and cost me emotionally. So I come with that reality before God. I come before reality before God of just knowing that last year that I struggled with the fact that I couldn't finish some things. I come to God in that reality of also knowing that through last year I had moments of just knowing deep loneliness. Often self-inflicted, if I'm honest. In moments of feeling fragile, of feeling vulnerable, of still seeking to care for everyone else and thinking, I'll be okay. And that just causing me to feel lonely. And so in the pause, we come to this God that we're dependent on and come in the reality of what we've been through. That as we come to this God who we're depending on, of saying, this is the reality I'm living with, God comes with his comfort. God comes as one who wants to hear. God comes as one who comes to heal, who comes to bring strength. We also come to this God not only with the reality of where we've been, but also saying, God, I need you for where I am and where I'm going. Like, surely this is the best way to start the year, by saying, God, I need you. I need you to be all that I'm meant to be. I need you to cause me to be able to inhabit all the life that you've afforded me, Jesus. God, I need you to cause me to do all that I know you've purposed for me to do this year. I wonder if this is more of what it looked like when Jesus said, like, pray saying, give me today my daily bread. Like, we're those that therefore live dependent on God. Those who continuously say, yeah, I'm going to continually pray. Why? Because I need to. Because I want to. Not because I have to. No, I need to and I want to. But it's not only that Paul says, like, we're those that are to be living dependently. He also says we're to be those living with thanksgiving. Like, the truth is this. Like, I find Thanksgiving a bit hard. I tend to kind of love to kind of get to the point and think, all right, that's done, brilliant, now let's get to the next challenge. Whereas actually Paul's encouraging us to say, no, in all circumstances, make time for Thanksgiving. Make time to remember, to celebrate what has gone on. Why? Because it reminds us of just the wonder of the God we're depending on. And it actually starts to fuel the joy in order that we can be those who rejoice always. See, I'm realizing I need to be someone who just needs to take time out to thank God, to be thankful for things in order that I can celebrate. I wonder whether you need to do the same. Like, for me, if I'm honest, if I look back, I can be deeply thankful personally for things of this year. I can be thankful for my family and how they've navigated the pandemic. They've just been amazing. I can be thankful in terms of my kids and how each of them has been able to continue in education within a pandemic, to kind of do the GCSEs they want to do, to go on to the A-levels they want to do, or go to the university they wanted to go to. I am deeply thankful that I've learned these lessons, and I'm continuing to learn these lessons of all we looked through in our recalibrating series, particularly the lesson of slowing down. I'm also thankful for who we are together, for the family of Oasis. I'm thankful for the fact that I'm part of this family. I'm thankful for the team that I get to be part of that helps kind of lead this family. I'm thankful for how God has carried us through this last year. I'm thankful for how I've seen individuals like support other individuals, and then the kind of roles reverse, and there's been this continual one anothering that as one's kind of okay, they say, hey, I know you're not doing so well, let me help. And then when someone else is, that person's like, well, actually, I'm not doing so well now. And then the other person comes alongside. It's just been phenomenal to see that and to be thankful for it. I'm thankful for tech. I'm thankful for the fact that we can connect either virtually in this moment now or virtually on demand in a moment that you're watching it, that we can still connect. I'm thankful that people keep turning up, that we've not thought, well, that's it, we can't gather in a room, therefore we're done. No, we've kind of by faith said, no, we're going to keep coming together. Like, I'm deeply thankful for it. I'm thankful for the fact that even in this moment, new people have come to connect amongst us. I'm thankful for the fact that over this past year, within a pandemic, we've run 3 separate Alpha courses, allowing individuals to explore the wonder of the life that Jesus offers. Like, suddenly you realize, man, we've got stuff to be thankful for, even in the bleakness and the fragility. And it's as I stop and pause and realize, no, there is stuff to be thankful for, it causes me to then think, man, this is worth celebrating. See, today offers us, at the start of the year, a moment to pause. And in our pausing, it offers us an invitation to inhabit more of the life characterized by God's goodness and love that Jesus afforded us. As we pause and remember, we're those that are dependent on God. As we pause and remember, we're those that need to be living with thanksgiving. Actually, it causes us then to do what Paul says. It causes us to start to realize that we do know joy. A joy that isn't found in kind of feeling smiley. No, a joy that is deep down, that allows us to know, yes, we have a God to depend on, and we have much to be thankful for. And that joy produces rejoicing. Therefore, as I said, I want to leave us with 7 questions to consider, which I hope will help us in terms of navigating, like, how do we then take this pause and reflect and move forward? I'd say first question is this: what have been the hardest parts of the last year? Like, take some moments just to consider that. I've already shared some of mine, the emotional demands of my wider family in this, in addition to the pandemic. I've shared in terms of living with things unfinished. I've shared in terms of loneliness, which has often been self-inflicted. Like, once you've done that, it's then secondly, what do you need to ask God for comfort for? Like, it's good to come specifically. It's like going and saying, God, this is how I'm doing. God, would you come and meet me in this? And for me, knowing that God's come and providing me comfort, deep comfort, providing me strength, continuously causing me to remember, I have nothing to prove. Third question, is there anything you want to leave with God and not carry forward into 2021? Like, for me, it's saying it's okay for some things to be unfinished. It's knowing that I'm not going to live with isolation and loneliness. I'm going to choose to be vulnerable and seek connection. Fourth question, how will you seek to live more dependently on God this year? Like how's it going to shape your day differently? Like, for me, it's that we're going to be looking at the Bible through the year, through a plan. I'm going to be seeking to fast regularly each week. Like, what's it going to look like for you? Fifthly, what are you most thankful for over this past year? I've outlined some of my thanks personally, and thanks for Oasis. What are yours? Sixthly, is there anyone who you would like to specifically thank? Like, make time to thank people personally. And then lastly, how will you live more thankfully this year? Like, for me, I'm going to be making time weekly to celebrate. What about you? I'm going to hand back to Abby now, who's going to lead us in a song of response, and then we'll move on from there. Thanks loads.
Take my heart, I lay it down at the feet of you whose crown. Take my life, I'm letting go. I lift it up to you whose throne. And I will worship you, Lord, only you, Lord. And I will bow down before you, only you, Lord. Sing, take my fret. Take my fret, take my fear. All I have, I'm leaving here. Be all my hopes, be all my dreams, be all my delights, be my everything. You're my everything, and I will worship you, Lord, only you, Lord, and I will bow down before you, only you, We're going to hand over to Lucy now, who's going to lead us in a response.
I'm just going to read through a short contemplation for the new year, taken from an original piece of writing by Emily P. Freeman. It will take perhaps 2 or 3 minutes for me to read this through, so make yourself comfortable, close your eyes if you find that helps you to concentrate, and just try and rest in God's presence as I read this to us now. We have all quietly stepped over the invisible threshold, the old slipping away into last year and the new presenting herself before us, waiting. In this turning of the year, no one is immune, no one is overlooked, no one is left out. We are all in this together. And so we begin another year-long journey, bags packed, whether we realise it or not. If we do not pay attention, those self-packing bags tend to fill up heavy with burdens we don't need. Today, take a peek into your bag. What do you see there on the top? Do you see shame tucked in on the side? Is comparison hiding in the zip-up pocket? Is fear rolled up tight and heavy on the bottom? Recognise what is making your own pack feel heavy and consider replacing those items today. There are lighter bundles to bring along. Consider courage, laughter, creativity, love, and joy. And so we return to our routines, to our work, and we find things perhaps piled just as we left them. Perhaps we're tentatively carrying a new energy, but worrying that it won't last for long. Let's push away dark thoughts of defeat. We don't have to conquer a whole year at once. Let's start small. Let's celebrate progress. Let's turn down the future's invitation, trying to pull us into anxiety. Let's say no when the past whispers, dragging us into regret. Let's refuse to rehearse our failures again. We don't need those anymore. Instead, let's accept the invitation of our friend Jesus, who lives with us in this moment. He invites me and he invites you to be present, to be loved, and to be fully yourself. Lord, help us to centre our hearts upon you. You are the clarity we long for. You are the answer we need. And you are the confidence that we seek. You are our sure and certain hope. You stand steadfastly with us in all that we face right now. We place our lives, our hearts, and our hopes for this new year fully into your hands. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you, Abby and Andy. Thank you, Adrian. It's been wonderful to gather together this morning again, to be back together as a community after a little bit of a break. But the fun doesn't stop here. As always, this is just the end of this part of our meeting, but our meeting will continue immediately afterwards when we have our Sunday catch-up. And so this is an opportunity for anyone and everyone, whether you're new to Oasis, whether you're a regular, to connect a little bit more personally. And so a link is going to appear on the chat. And if you click that at some point in about 3 or 4 minutes' time when I finish speaking, what we'll find is that we'll open up a Zoom meeting together. We'll have an opportunity to connect together, to see one another, to go into some breakout rooms and to have a little bit of time catching up with one another, finding out how everyone's been spending the Christmas season. And so maybe if you've never given that a try before, I'd really encourage you, give it a go this morning. It's a great way to connect with other people. And even though most of us, I'm sure, after the last year are all kind of zoomed out, we're nearly screened out, It's a way for us to be community together. And so I'd really encourage you, give it a go this morning, even if you've never tried it before. Connect with some others in our community. As we close, I'm just going to bring us up to speed with a couple of things that are coming up over the next couple of weeks in the life of Oasis. And the first of those is just to say that before Christmas, we'd shared about our plans and our desires to bring together a new in-person gathering on Sunday evenings. And this is just to say we're going to pause that for just a moment while we work out the kind of implications of Tier 4 and while things in our nation seem to be heading again towards a moment of kind of increased problems and increased restrictions. And so we just want to make sure that when we do gather again in person, that's going to be done in a way that serves everyone, both in our community and in our wider community. So we'd said before Christmas that we were hoping to get that up and running next week, but we'll take a few more weeks to figure out exactly what and when we're going to be doing that, and we'll share that with you in due course. But there are some really exciting things still to look forward to, and the first of those is next Sunday. We're going to be back for our Vision Sunday. And so Vision Sunday is a Sunday we always have at the start of the year to look back at what God has done amongst us, to look ahead at what he might want to do amongst us in the future. It's a moment to hear his voice speak to us again and to lead us through. Last year, you might remember, he spoke to us about being a community that builds wells, not walls, so that everyone can come and drink deeply from him. And although that didn't quite pan out how we thought it might, we certainly have ended that year in a way that enables anyone and everyone to come and taste and see through our online presence that Jesus is good, even in the difficulty of this season. And so I'm full of faith that what God is going to speak to us about this year through all that we're going to hear together is going to really encourage us and stir us for 2021. And so please do join us next Sunday. That'll be from 10:15 a.m, our welcome slot before the service. We'll be back again with 15 minutes of fun connecting as a community. And then after that, the meeting proper will start at 10:30. So I hope you can join us here online. And the last thing just to let you know about is a couple of prayer meetings that are coming up over the next couple of weeks. And so the first of those on this coming Wednesday is a joint one with different churches in Harborne. That starts at 8 o'clock. And the following one is the week after on Wednesday, the 13th of January, also at 8 o'clock, which is just an Oasis prayer meeting together. And so you'll find the details for both of those. If you're interested, if you want to start the new year with prayer, do check out our website. There's a number of different prayer meetings, both those and our kind of early morning prayer, our daily devotional times, all of the different things we've got coming up and starting up again for the new year. It will be all the details on the website, www.theoasischurch.com. But other than that, we're just about done here. So I hope to see you all really soon in the catch-up. But other than that, have a very happy new year. If you've got snow around you still, if it's not quite melted around, or you're kind of not in other parts of the country where they have not been blessed with snowfall, get out, enjoy it, and we'll hopefully see you again very soon. Bye for now.